As you can see, it is just me. I am your host, Lee Pierce. I am a key account sales manager with IngramSpark. If you have been to the other Metadata Monday episodes, then you already know this. But for those of you joining us for the first time, hi, welcome. I've been with this company for 7 years. I love my job. I love being a part of IngramSpark, and I'm so grateful that I get the opportunity to share insights with publishers like you. So thank you for joining me with this. For those of you who haven't heard, metadata is super important. It is the way that anybody can find your book outside of it being displayed on a shelf somewhere. But in order to get displayed, you have to be found. And so we're talking about the most important thing you can do to market your book, which is to make sure that your metadata is optimal. And I'm just gonna wave a few times, and we're trying a new setup where you're above me. It's a more flattering angle for me. But you'll see a lot of reach as I change through our backgrounds. So let's get started. We're gonna talk today about some delightful descriptions. And what makes them delightful? Well, that's the thing that is really gonna sell your book to somebody, because they're gonna get hooked by the cover, they're gonna pick it up, and then they're gonna look and see what your book is about. And so that is really the place where you're gonna capture your reader and hold on to them. So this stuff has to be good. So let's dive on in. I have to keep scrolling to get to the right spot. We've got a lot to cover. So one thing to know is that there are 2 different types of descriptions for your books: the short description and the full description. A lot of people I see will put in a full description, and it's very lovely, but they often forget the short description. And part of that is because it's kind of hidden in the title ad section. So when you go to put in your metadata, there are little sections that say, click here to see more information to input for your metadata. And title shorts description is under one of those, because it's not exactly required, but it is definitely something you should put in. So I'm of the opinion we should make it required, but we're also trying to make it easy for everyone to put their book in. So this is where it comes down to, are you a serious bookseller who wants to sell books, or are you kind of just printing for you and your friends? Because if it's just you and your friends, you don't really need all this stuff. But when we talk about trying to become a bookseller and trying to get your book out there and noticed, short description is super important. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Let's go down to the next part. So first, let's talk about what a short description is. So this is the concise summary overview of your book. It's what's going to capture and ensnare buyers specifically. So you really want this to be that elevator pitch. You want it to be a maximum of 200 characters. I don't know what I just did there. I clicked on something bad. All right, there we go. And then you want it to be obvious what your book is. So we're really geared towards librarians and buyers for retailers, because as you'll see, go to the next one. So when you publish through IngramSpark, you get access into Ingram's vast network of 45,000 retail and distribution partners. And when they are going online to buy your book, they use iPage. That's our online catalog ordering system. And so when they're looking through all of the different books and the pages that are on there, they only see the cover image, which you see over here. And by the way, here's one of our selected titles. We'll look at it a little bit more closely later, but this title, you can see the cover, you can see some quick specs of it, and you see the short description. And if that cover and that short description don't snag the buyer or the librarian, they're not going to look at the rest of your book. They're not going to look at your beautifully crafted description. They're not going to look at any of that additional metadata. Those 2 items are really the big thing as well as if it's got the right discount and is returnable. But you'll see that that information is there too. So this is really where you make the impact if you want to be available in retailers and in libraries. So 100% make sure that you put a short description in. All right, we're gonna choose a new asset. I suppose I could read to you this one's short description, actually, because it was really good. So this one's short description was, the book is The Shadows Within, and the short description is, Riley Harper returns to Shadowwood Forest, seeking clarity, but something ancient awaits. As reality unravels, he must face a predator from myth or the darkness within his own mind. The Shadows Within is a tense psychological horror. Sounds good, right? Don't you want to read that? Okay, so let's talk about full descriptions. And keep in mind, we are going to go over some examples and how they get optimized a little bit later. Also, I forgot to mention at the top of this, but if you have questions, awesome. Ask your questions, but wait until we get to the Q&A, okay? Also, keep in mind that we're only going to answer questions that are general about the topic at hand. If it's a personal question about your personal account, you should send those to customer support. Okay. Also, make sure you take notes because I'm going to ask you questions at the end and 3 lucky winners are going to win some swag. Okay, so full description. This is going to be the back of your book, that blurb in the back. It's going to be the description that is straightforward and really hooks your reader. And it needs to be at least 150 words. So think about all the text that you can fit on your back of your book. That's going to depend on your trim size and stuff, but you want it to be inviting to the reader. So it should be visually pleasing. It should be very interesting to read. It should tell the buyer what they're getting into. So that's what's going to help them make the decision on whether or not they're going to buy your book versus somebody else's. So super important, just like the short description, but for a little bit of a different way. So the short description, you're really trying to snag your buyers and your librarians who are curating their lists for their customers to shop from. The full description is specifically geared to your customer, your reader. And so think about that as you're writing those two, because they are going to be a little bit different. And so let's move on to some examples. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. All right, so this is our first title that we're gonna optimize. This was submitted with our last Metadata Monday way back in April. Oh, it's April. Wow. And so this one, let me scroll down through here so I can talk about it because there are comments in front of it. It's by Aisha Hussein Rashid. Auntie Aisha Answers. The Tween Muslim's Ultimate Guide to Growing Up. So, very cute little book. Let's look at its short description. So what we did is we took the short description that was given to us and we went ahead and optimized it because, you know, reading a lot of stuff takes a minute. But what our enhancement team suggested for this one, we did not go through and add this. So Aisha, I hope you're watching and that you take this information and go update your account. Anyway, the short description that they suggested was, the tween years can be confusing. In this book, Auntie Aisha provides reliable, non-judgmental advice on physical, emotional, social, and religious questions to help navigate this stage of growing up. So it tells you exactly what the book is. It tells you exactly what you're getting into, who this is specifically for. There's a lot of really good information here that's going to be very relevant to the people who are considering putting this on their shelves or in their catalog, whatever they're planning to do. So think about who your audience is, what your book is trying to do to help them, and then put that information in your short description. Okay, so let's go to some tips about short descriptions. So again, elevator pitch, you want it to be memorable. So what do we remember about this short description? It's got advice for tweens about all kinds of things that happen that they want to think about during those confusing tween years. That's what this book is really going to be about. That's going to be, who's looking for this type of book. So no confusion on who the intended audience is going to be. You want to highlight the big things that matter. You want to ensure that both descriptions stand alone. So this doesn't rely on the long description to make sense. It needs to be able to be understood and complete in its own little form. And then make sure that these reinforce one another. So we're not going to look at the long description for this one, but keep that in mind as you are looking at your metadata. And so now let's skip on to our next title, The Shadows Within, which we looked at the short description earlier. So this one was submitted to us back in April as well. Thank you so much at Rufus Watson Books. And Auntie Asha Answers was at Nagia Rights Wrongs. If I butchered that, I'm really sorry. I try to be good with names, but sometimes I'm just not the best. So we're looking at The Shadows Within from Rufus Watson. And this one, we do have the current. I must have missed something. Anyway, so currently this is the full description. It would take me a minute to read this, so I'm not going to. So what I'm gonna suggest is this will be posted and can be rewatched. So this is the point where you should probably pause the screen and zoom in a little bit if you can to read through this and see what it is. It is a good description, but it could be improved, which is why we chose it. So I'm gonna wave at some people. Hi, thanks for joining. And now let's look at what it would look like optimized. And you'll see there are some pretty obvious changes. There's some bold, especially in that first paragraph. That's gonna be really important because it's kind of lining that, setting the camera angle is what I would kind of liken it to, where you're kind of preparing your reader for what's coming. So it's not just like, here's the introduction to the people and this is what's going on. It's expect this kind of book. Okay, now here's the detail about it. So this is what we would recommend as the optimized version. And Rufus Watson Books, if you're online, we also did not add this into your account. So I highly hope that you will go back and fix that. Or not fix it, update it. That sounds better. All right. So, as I mentioned, both of the titles that we talked about today were submitted last April. If you would like to have your metadata optimized by our team and talk about it in the next episode, please submit to have it enhanced. I love that you love your hardcover print from IngramSpark. Sorry, I got squirreled. But that's awesome. We do print some pretty great books. And I say that not just because I work here, and obviously I'm going to say that, but also because I have several of these books on my library shelf. I have a library. It's wonderful. It's very pretty. Anyway, so submit to have your title enhanced. There's a link in the bio down below. We had a lot of people engaged last episode, and I'm sorry that we didn't get to pick all of you, but there were some really amazing submissions. So you guys are awesome. And I really hope that all of you watching and that rewatch will also submit your books for consideration so that we can look at them. Next topic is author bios. So if you are interested on how to optimize your author bio, please submit and maybe you will be chosen. Woot woot. All right. Next asset. If you love what we've been doing with the enhancement, I just want to remind you that we do have the title discovery program that is in the Promote My Book tab of your account. It is the number one thing that I always recommend to any publisher who wants to get more awareness and market their books. Every title that's been chosen and that has gone through title discovery has received a boost in sales. I'm not guaranteeing sales, but so far it's holding up. We also had a really wonderful interview at IBPA where a publisher who had put her book through title discovery recommended and said that it was the number one thing that she's done for her book. So I would suggest going to look at it. Make sure if you do it that you do the boost one, because that does include the enhanced metadata. The basic does not. So you can still get in curation and curated lists and the themed articles and all of that with the regular one. But remember, having optimized metadata is going to make it more effective. So that's my 2 cents. Go look at them both. They're both excellent, but boost is what I recommend. And then gotta look at the next one. Now is the time for question and answers. I feel like we're really flying through this episode. So yeah, if you have any questions about descriptions, anything that we talked about today, anything in general, now is the time to ask it. And hi everybody who's newly joined. Appreciate you being here. And hello to everyone rewatching. Appreciate you too. If you have questions and the live is over, please post them. You can message us directly or you can write it in the comments. Happy to answer those for you. But I'm not seeing any questions yet. I'm trying to kind of like waffle it. I think that's what the word is, waffle. Words are fun. I'm gonna take a drink of tea, and if there are no questions, then I will continue. Speaking of tea, I wonder if anybody here ever watched Tea with Lee. That was also my thing. If you want that to come back, you could post that. Oh, Jerry says she has one. Has a question, I hope, or something. I will wait. I feel like I need some like waiting music, you know, like Jeopardy. Whoop. I keep getting some requests for joining the live video, and that means we have to share screens and do things, and I can't do that, so you gotta ask it in the chat. Sorry. Ba-ba-dum. Just waving to people, hanging out. But I don't want to hang out too long. Ooh, do I have any insight regarding Amazon's algorithm changes? So I will say, I don't work for Amazon, so I don't 100% understand what they're doing at any given time. I don't know that they do, but maybe. I hope they do. I have to be careful about what I say. Amazon is a really great partner of ours. So as far as their algorithm changes, I can say that the way they buy is a little bit different. I don't know exactly what determines that, but my understanding is that they are not buying as many bulk orders to have in warehouses, and instead are really only buying when a customer places an order, which is good because that means hopefully fewer returns, but fewer sales. So that is kind of as much as I know, really. It would be a good question for Amazon. Anybody else have any questions? I'm not seeing any. So if you have questions, just write them down in the chat. If I see them, I will respond to them before the live. If not, or rewind. If I see them before this live ends, I will respond to them. And if I do not, then someone will be with you, probably our social media manager, who will answer your questions or send them where they need to go. What about book prices being powered? Yeah, I don't know much about that. Sorry. Okay, so let's move on to the giveaway. Everybody loves a giveaway. Everybody loves to win the swag. Okay, so if you've won before, you cannot win again. And if you win once, you cannot win twice. So let's give everybody a shot at winning a prize. Questions are gonna be so hard. They're not really that hard. Question number 1. What is a description? Just chat that right into the thing. What is a description? I see a question came in. If you have a book on IngramSpark, how did you have it featured? I'm not sure what you're asking. Featured how? Like featured on Amazon? Featured through the Title Discovery Program? So I would need a little more clarity on the question you're asking. Also remember that the Why I Publish link is in the bio, so definitely a good idea to go check that out. There are 2 types, short and long. That's right, Anne. But what is a description? So what does it do? Come on, Anne. I know you can do this. I believe. Don't need a huge long answer. Just what is the description? What does it do? Yes, Anne, thank you. I will accept that answer. It tells the reader about your book. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. So you win some swag. If you will, just DM us. I need your full name and your physical address. It cannot be a P.O. box. Sorry, I have notes. All right, next question. What's a full description? Or even, what is the difference between a full description and a short description? Hello. Some of you new folks are probably not going to know the answers to this because it was above and you're coming in late. But on the off chance, it's kind of a general question. If you know what a full description is, you could win some swag. The Jeopardy song is playing in my head. I feel like this is awkward. Okay, I don't have an answer yet, so if you can comment what is a full description, or the question 3 is what is a short description, or the answer to both of those. What's the difference between them? Oh, okay. JJHorda.art says full descriptions are more detailed. Yes, thank you. Jerry Silver says short description is used for promoting your book in iPage. Sort of, but I'll take it. It's a short, very quick summary elevator pitch. So I'll take them. So JJ Huerta Art and Jerry Silver, if you would DM me, us, IngramSpark, with your first name, your full name and your full street address, then we will be able to get you some swag. Yay! And that's it for our giveaway, our winners, our set. Huzzah! I just want to thank you all for being with us today, learning more about full descriptions and short descriptions and why both are necessary and what makes them different. If you have any questions or if you want to know more, please comment. There are links in the description below. If you want your book to be considered for optimization in the next episode, which is author bios, please submit that. The link is down below. And tune in for the next episode. It's going to be July 21st at 1 p.m., provided that nobody gets sick or is not here. So we will see you then. Hopefully Molly will be back with us by then. And I know, we love her. So send some love. Okay. Thanks, y'all. Bye.